GM, everyone. Just vibing to the beat right now. How's everyone doing? Pretty quiet in the market right now, huh? I'll turn the music down in a second. Just vibing for a second. Yeah, I got a couple of you here with me. Give me a GM in the chat. Just vibing on this Thursday evening. All right. Let me turn that down. I'm gonna leave the music playing in the background. I think it was kind of nice last time, having some background noise, some background beats, some background vibes while we're doing the shows. Welcome again to the Twitch audience. My name is 0xRapture, and this is Astrology for Men. How's everyone doing tonight? The market just seems so quiet. Like, CT is quiet, volumes are low. Everyone's just kind of in wait and see mode, not really sure what the market wants to do right now. So as I've been thinking up how I want to approach these streams, I've been sort of developing a little bit of a schedule that I'll be releasing soon. I haven't fully fleshed it out yet, but my plan is to run a couple different types of show per week. So far this week, we had the weekly close Sunday night after the weekly close took place. And I think I'm going to keep those to being high level, a view of majors, of how the week closed off, what we might be looking to see happen as the week starts. Just a wider overview of the market, not too much into the details or specifics of individual coins or specific trades, just what we might be expecting from the week ahead. We might look at some news, some upcoming releases, or just stuff like that. And then the second show I did this week was more akin to my classic streams, which was the chart requests. We did some chart requests on the first show on the Sunday, but on the one, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. We did a bunch of chart requests. Which I'm going to keep some of those shows active, but I'm also going to be doing shows that are more specifically geared to research. I've been talking with my buddy Too Tall. We used to do some Twitter spaces a while back. Like, this is going back a long time ago now. We had a show that we did a few of called LARPer Legit, where we would take a look at some coins. It was ETH back in those days, ETH utility coins. And we would just take a look at some of the launches and trying to determine if they were LARP or legit, and if they had any, if they had potential. Now, we're not going to do that specific show, but what I want to do is bring him on to take a look at his general workflow and his process for doing research and some DD into projects. Because I'll openly admit, like, that's not my strong suit. I'm a technical analyst from, like, on charts. Like, TA is my guiding light. Like, I'm not a great coin picker, but I can follow volume. And that's my process for choosing coins, is just following the volume and attention. And I just rely on my system and my system of levels trading. But he's really good at picking coins. So that's a show that we've got coming up. I think we're actually going to run one of those tomorrow to see how that goes. See if we want to make it a recurring theme, recurring show, weekly show. I'm also been talking to another buddy of mine who likes to do reviews of tools and new products and new dApps and stuff like that. So I'm speaking with him. We might do maybe not a weekly segment on that, but a bi-weekly segment. We'll see. And then I also want to do shows more geared towards workflow, specifically using a lot of the ChainEdge tooling. Shout out to ChainEdge, one of the companies that helps put this show on, along with the Daily Edge. So tonight's show, actually, I'm going to spend doing some of that because there's not really much going on. So I don't really want to look at charts of specific coins. We may look at a few charts, but generally what I want to do tonight is just take a look around and see where flows are headed. Like, are coins getting inflows? If they are, which coins are getting inflows? Where is attention sat at in the market right now? So we're going to walk through some of that stuff and just take a look around. Like, no real planned out process today, but maybe for some of the people that are subscribed to ChainEdge or are looking to subscribe to ChainEdge, you can get an idea of the information that you can find through the site. I'm just going to change this track up since we've been listening to it for a few rounds. Put something else on, drop another beat to vibe to. I think I'm going to keep it on this more down tempo beats to ride and smoke to vibe. So we'll switch that up and then we'll start taking a look at some of the ChainEdge stuff. Oh, okay. Just take a quick look at the chat. See if there's been any comments. No comments. Everyone's just chilling. Everyone's just vibing. That's all good. It's all good. By the way, as we're going along, if anyone has any questions that they want to ask, feel free to drop them in the chat. About anything. I'm here to just vibe. Like, it's a Thursday night. There's really not much happening in the market. The daily cooks have been pretty slow, but it doesn't mean that we stop paying attention to the market. If anything, when it gets slow like this is when you can take the time to really hone some of the skills that you've been looking to improve upon. I'm gonna pull up my screen here. Here we go. Let me just get, there we go. Was that better? Was that better? No, let's let you, we'll leave it like that. That's fine. Let me know if the screen is clear for everyone. I do see one question. Rooster says, can you explain the difference between order block and breaker once you get to the charts? Yeah, I can. I mean, this show wasn't really going to be chart specific or geared towards charts or the trading system that I use and teach, but I can definitely give a quick rundown of what an order block and a breaker is. We'll get to that in a little bit. Let's just take a look around. So for those unfamiliar, this is the Discover page of the ChainEdge terminal. It's still in beta, it's still in private beta. It's not public yet. Some people have access in beta testing. I'm also testing a different way of sharing my screen so that it's easier to just like hop around. The way that I have been doing it is like browser tab specific in the past, which gives the full screen and doesn't have those sidebars, but I think this might be a little easier way to quickly bounce around from different window to window to keep the workflow a little bit quicker on a show like this one today. So we can see the Trump coin still commanding a large chunk of attention. I mean, I don't know. Not really that interested in Trump coin. Fart coin still got a lot of attention. MLG, ARC, Buttcoin, Mobi. So what this is right here in the middle is a visual representation of tokens with the highest mind share. It's a different representation of the attention dash. For people that are subscribed to ChainEdge, people that are familiar with ChainEdge. And it's a nice way to visualize the changes day to day. I mean, Trump coin has been commanding a large chunk for a long time. I mean, pretty much since it launched. Maybe we'll take a look and see. Let's take a look and see what the Trump coin is looking like right now. Okay, that looks funky on there. Let's pull it up over here. So what are we looking at right now? I mean, pretty much been down only since launch, right? It's starting to give that sort of going sideways after it's gone down a lot. So here's the daily range low. I mean, like I said, I'm not really here to look at charts too much. I just want to take a quick look. Yeah, it could be basing. Let's go back to the Discover page, see what else is happening. Take a look at the trending coins over here. Sanchan, a coin that's been pushed by a lot of KOLs on the timeline. Well, let's take a look. So what the trending feed is high volume, high attention coins. It's another way of representing the attention dashboard, but in a shorter time frame. Like the turnover on these seems to be a lot quicker than the traditional attention dashboard on ChainEdge. Let's take a look. If this looks interesting at all. I mean, it's come down. At this moment in time, you don't really want to be entering this trade here, right? Because you can see it's already ran up into that swing level. Here's the current range it's been trading in, right? Like it formed a range, swing high, the swing low, it swept the low right there. Now it's back up at the high. So not really where I'd want to be buying. If you get a close above that, you can start to think about where you would want to buy that coin. If this just ends up as a sweep though, there is a decent chance that it comes back down here. So I wouldn't really be looking to buy this right here, right now, unless it's just a quick momentum trade. But even then, like that trade's already sort of unfolded. But it's good to see like this module on the ChainEdge terminal for discovery, right? Like the top coin up here. And I'm not sure what this looked like earlier today. I haven't spent too much time on chain today, to be perfectly honest with you all. Been kind of more focused on how I'm going to grow these live streams and what the plan is to come up with new shows and new ideas. So I haven't been focused as much on chain the last couple days because I haven't really felt like the risk to reward is there right now. You have to know, you have to get a feel for the chain, a feel for on-chain, a feel for the market, the environment, for when it's a good time to step on the gas and when it's a good time to ease off. And yes, there are opportunities playing out, like I just showed you, like there was a clear setup here. And had we looked at this, earlier today, I mean, that sweep right there was at 11 a.m., right? So this is taking a while to play out. Right? And it didn't actually fully sweep, but it came down near the bottom of the range. So if you're looking for a quick momentum trade, but what I am trying to highlight it here is like the power behind the discovery from the tools that we've been building at ChainEdge. Take a look at ASOP, the second coin here on trending. Again, there was a trade to be had here. Like, here's your demand. It was right there. Range low, range high. There was a previous key level. Came down near the bottom of demand. Didn't give you that range low sweep, which is usually a really great trigger, but it did give you entries down here that you could have been looking for. Now this is H4, so say we drop down to H1. Let's see what we're looking at. Okay. So on H1, you didn't even quite get sweeps, but you got pretty close to the bottom of the range. So when we go broader on the release, for public release, for the terminal, like, if you're not interested in trading the front end of the spear, meaning all the brand new launches, and you're just looking for more swing trade opportunities, this module, the trending module, very powerful. Like what the devs have been trying to build off of the guidance of On-Chain Wizard, founder of ChainEdge, and myself in developing the terminal, is really geared towards discovery. You know, a lot of the other tools have some great discovery tools, but they're not necessarily refined. They are broad. And somewhere that ChainEdge has always excelled is in pointing people into the direction of tokens that are either getting high amounts of inflows or have a high level of attention and a decent chance that they're going to get a bounce. Now, if you combine that with the system that I teach of how to trade, very powerful, because you can buy low, ideally, is what you want to be doing. You want to be buying blood, buying low, and selling high. And, you know, that's two coins, the top two coins on the trending dash, that there's been trade setups. Now, how much follow through they get is very dependent on market conditions. Let's keep it moving along. Let's look at another coin from here. Jelly. And see what we have here. Okay, well, I mean, this coin looks like shit. This coin looks like absolute dog shit. I mean, it's been down only since, I mean, if you buy it anywhere up around here, like let's say you even bought here, down over 90%, almost lost 100% of your capital. Shitty coin, but one thing I can see, okay, it's up into an H4 range high. It's a bearish range high. Also not where you want to be buying, right? You don't want to be buying into range highs. What you either want to do is hope for some sort of range low sweep as a trigger, or you wait for it to recapture bullish market structure with a higher high close above this level on H4, meaning an H4 candle body close, not just it came up here. Just peaking above the level doesn't mean shit. At least not in the system that I teach. By the way, if anyone has questions about the system, like I know I said I wasn't gonna dig too much into charts, but that's just what I do. I fucking love charts. I love looking at charts. But until you get an H4 candle close, like a body close above here, now people might say, oh, well, isn't that late to the move? Well, were you late to the move if you bought here and then you're down here, right? Like you want to be buying with trend. And as of right now, the trend is firmly downward. But if you get an H4 close above here, that means a bullish market structure shift on H4 with a higher high. Well, then you'd be looking to buy somewhere in here. So like say, you get a close up here and you might get some sort of price action like this. Well, you'd be looking to buy somewhere here. So wherever the demand zone forms, you'd be looking to buy somewhere in there with hopes that it's going to give another higher high up here, right? But for now, it's kind of just wait and see. And I guess let's dig into Rooster's question then, since we are looking at some charts. I just want to think of a chart that might be ideal. Okay, let's take a look at the Fartcoin chart, because it has enough price action history that I can show you what the difference between a order block and a breaker is. Now, what an order block, a breaker, and a fair value gap are, what those are just different areas of supply and demand. If it's bullish, it's an area of demand. If it's bearish, it's an area of supply. So let's just clear this off. Go to daily, since there's enough price action on daily. So, a order block is an area of consolidation, a price cluster, or the classic way of describing it from the ICT. Let me just switch the speed up because we've been listening to it for a few times. But if you're a student of ICT, which is where so many people have learned those terms of order blocks. I don't specifically, I'm not a strict ICT, I don't abide to a strict ICT system. Like the system of trading that I use and I teach is largely based on TraderMain's system, about 75%. The other 25% is a combination of a few other traders that I studied from like the end of 2021 all through 2022 and into the beginning, maybe first half of the year of 2023. So a good year and a half, maybe almost 2 years is when I was really doing a lot of heavy studying. Actually a good chunk of 2023 as well then. I was doing heavy studying of trade systems. TraderMain was one of the ones that I gravitated towards the most. So why I say that my system is about 75% of what he teaches, because it resonated really thoroughly with me and it just made sense. But I've taken pieces from other traders and incorporated that as well. Took everything that I learned and applied it to on-chain and adjusted the system that I use to the nuances of on-chain, because perps have specific ways of trading, and on-chain has a slightly different way of trading. And depending on which chain, it trades a little bit differently too. Like the way you would look for entries on an Ethereum coin on-chain is different than a Solana coin, because Solana coins have a funny way of going all the way to the bottom of the range, where you think it's about to just like fall off the cliff, and then that's where the buyers step in. Whereas on like an ETH chain, like it might just be the top of an order block. They just behave a little bit differently. Anyways, so the difference between an order block and a breaker. So this is an order block, and as defined by ICT, it would be for a bearish breaker, the up candle before a down move that created a lower low. Now, why is this a lower low on Fartcoin here? Well, because we had a swing low here that price closed below, and there was the level, price closed below. This was the up move before the down, or the up candle before the down move that made a lower low. So this is now an order block, a bearish order block, or as I call it, supply. And I like a cluster. I don't like just the one candle. I usually like a cluster of price action that precedes the move. So there's different ways of outlining them. But there is your bearish order block. And you would suspect that if Fartcoin bounces up into here, it's going to be met with a lot of sellers. Why is that? Well, because people were buying this. The people buying this were expecting price to go up, but instead it went down. And they're underwater as of right now. The majority. Like, yes, some people were buying in here, but this was mostly sellers. So these buyers are underwater. So the theory is, just based on human psychology, you get a price bounce up under here, well, they're going to be looking at close as close back to break even as possible. Now, a breaker is another type of supply and demand. And what that is, I don't think I see one here on daily on Fartcoin. But what we can look for is on 4 hour. Let's see if I can find one. If there even was one, maybe there wasn't. Okay. So, a breaker is a former order block, either supply or demand, bearish or bullish. So in this case, it was a bullish order block that price broke through. And it becomes a breaker because price broke through it and it comes in an underside retest as supply. So that's the very simple way of describing what a breaker is versus an order block. Like, you can see up until this point, this was just a normal area of demand. This was up until here. This was just an order block, a bullish order block, or an area of demand. Excuse me. That probability-wise, when it comes down into it, buyers are looking to step in. But since the level was lost, it broke bearish, breaker, it broke, right? It broke bearish right here when the candle closed below the level. So I like to mark my market structure shifts with an orange level. Well, became a breaker, price came down, up into it, price closed below, came up into it, and was sold off. Tagged it a couple times and then, went down quite a bit from there. So that's the difference between an order block and a breaker. Does that answer your question? Does that make sense, Mr. Rooster132? You let me know in the chat if that makes sense. Yes, thanks. Okay, awesome. Well, if you have any other questions, let me know. And the third, do you know, are you aware what a fair value gap is? Because that's the third type of supply and demand. Oops. A fair value gap, or an FVG, is just an area where the candle displacement was large. Let's see if I can find one. Probably on daily I can find one. Let's take a look. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So we even had a fair value gap right here. A fair value gap is in a bearish fair value gap, it's the underside wick included of the candle before to the upper side candle after a candle with a large area of displacement, like this right here. Let me remove this again. You can see there's this gap there to there on either side of it within this candle body. That is a fair value gap. And if we outline there to there, we can even see, oh, what do you know? That acted as supply. Now, oftentimes, fair value gaps, order blocks, they'll overlap, right? And the way that I like to draw out my supply and demand zones are modified order blocks, like I was saying earlier. Like I've traded on-chain long enough that I've adapted my system and modified it specifically to on-chain. So I incorporate things a little differently than if you were to adhere to the strict trader main style of drawing out an order block or some other people. And this just comes from being specifically on-chain focused for trading for a while now. Anyways, so you can see they do overlap, and you could have used either. If we were to do a classic order block style, which is the up candle before the down move in bearish, the one candle is usually what gets outlined. We'll see, you would have missed that and you would have been waiting for it. But as I said, I like to do a modified version. It caught that, but so did the fair value. Right? But now this is the bearish supply zone, bearish order block on Fartcoin. Okay, let's move along. Did anyone hear? I was just was speaking with some buddies, and apparently Shah has been offloading clips of AI-16Z. Let's take a look at the chart and see what we got. Oof. Woof. That is. It's the future, they said. AI-16Z. It's the AI operating system. It's like these are new L1s. Well, they're certainly going down like L1s at the end of last cycle. Now, don't mistake me there. I'm not saying we're at the end of this cycle. I'm just saying it's eerily reminiscent of the way that L1s behaved at the end of the last cycle. I don't believe that we're at the end of this cycle by any means. It's just funny to see. Well, it's a bearish daily range. So not everything in here is going to be worth a bid, but it does help narrow things down. Like if you're busy or trading isn't your full-time job and you're just trying to get quickly caught up to speed on a few coins that might be of interest, well, you just take a look through here and look, like this is a short list. You know, it's a bit longer actually than it's been in a while. I don't know that I've ever seen it this long. I mean, Bitcoin down to less than 7.5 mil. That was the darling up until a few days ago. That really highlights something though that I would like to point out: the environment that we're in right now. It's a trader's market. Part of the reason why I was really motivated to start these streams back up again was because I was getting tired of seeing people get chopped up and doing round trips or being underwater on positions that they took, when all I was seeing everywhere I was looking was very high time frame signal on levels that the party was ending on those coins. And Bitcoin is a good example of why we're in a trader's market and not a holder's market. And the rotations are fast, the rotations are furious, and you have to adapt to the times. There was a period from, well, when AI season really kicked off, where my system of trading, while great for finding entries, is not a Moonboy system. So it was a little less, people were a little less interested in learning about levels because you could top blast and be rewarded for it a day or two later, or even later that day. You know, like top blasting was being rewarded. And now there are ways of trading around that, and I should have done a better job of being more consistent and sticking around through all that, but it also got crazy hectic and the environment was super busy, and having the time to do trading myself while also doing the streams and posting in the AFM Telegram group, like it became very time consuming compared to the amount of time and effort I needed to be spending trading myself. But I'm back, and I'm happy to be back. I actually missed it quite a bit, and I do enjoy doing these streams. For some reason, I like talking to myself. But yeah, what I was just trying to say was, you know, darling today, in the gutter tomorrow. So don't marry any coins right now. I really would not be marrying any coins right now. I look at ARK. It was 600 million not that long ago. Now it's below 200 million. Like, you know, don't ever marry any bag. If the chart gives you signal to get out, then get out, you know? We're here to make money. We're not here to become community members. We're not here to change the world. I mean, yes, crypto, the ideological side of it, the reason why many of us got into it in the first place is to change the world. But the longer you're in the space, your views kind of change on that, and just generally try and profit as much as you can. Like it doesn't mean you need to be a shitty person. You don't need to scam people. You don't need to do elaborate pump and dump schemes or just outright rug people. Like, I'm not saying that, but if you're being a genuine and legitimate participant in the market, well, why are we here? We're here to make money. I just realized my face on the screen is covering some of these things, so you couldn't actually see all the tokens I was looking at over here. I was talking about Bitcoin a little while ago, which was down here. Yeah, my mug's in the way. Let me here. There we go. Yeah, I was talking about Bitcoin over here. Lux as well had been a darling for a while. Had been a hot coin. I mean, even we're still getting coins that are hot for a few days, but the life cycle is really short right now. And we can take a look at another module we've got here. We've got the on-chain strength module, which is just coins with high volume. I believe they're coins over 24 hours. Yeah, I think they have to be 1 day plus with this volume threshold. And so it's another way of narrowing down your discovery, depending on how you like to trade and what types of coins you like to trade. Like this is where I would look to catch momentum. Like the high end of the volume spectrum is where you're probably going to be able to catch those quick bounces. Ooh, that's an ugly fucking chart though. What is this? What is that? It's not going to be foolproof, but like, okay. You got an H1 higher high when it closed above here. It came down into demand, and now it's bounced, right? Like, there's always trades to be found somewhere. It's such a wide market. There's always a bull market somewhere. So there's always a trade to be had somewhere. So like I was saying, these are just high volume coins older than 1 day. And we've got the Soul Trench. These are all brand new coins. These are all new launches with high volume and short intervals. If you want to be early, this is where you want to be looking. Right now, it's not necessarily the market to be doing that in. Yes, you can have success in this market, but you got to be glued to things like this panel right here the whole day. And you really need to be on top of narratives, and you need to be really quick with making a decision. So you're going to do your checks, you're going to do bundle checks, you're going to check top holders, you're going to check the dev, things like that. I've been avoiding the new launches for a little while now. I'd rather wait for the conditions to improve. They don't even have to improve that much. They just need to improve to a place where it's not a knife fight over 1 million market cap. And we also have a version of the alpha stream here, a new version of the alpha stream. It's more streamlined than the traditional one from the Chain Edge website, which also tracks whales of high performing coins, the top 40 holders of coins and what their activity is. And this is a really great place to spend time, especially when you have it side by side with your trading. Well, let's see. An MLG whale is buying Murad. Not really compelling, but what is this coin? Let's take a look at that, and you can see, you can just click it right open, right from here. Like this was something that I was really pushing for, was having this side by side. Like I wanted all these panels. Also have your watch list. What do I have on there? Moby. It's down to 40 mil. Ooh-wee. And recently viewed. I mean, I view a lot of coins. We should probably cap that so that it's not an infinite list. Holy fuck. Fuck me, I've looked at a lot of coins, eh? And this is just during beta testing. Wow. I look at a lot of fucking tokens. Munar, what's up, buddy? How are you? Thanks for coming out. Munar, good buddy of mine. One of the OGs from the AFM community. Also someone that I met through Chain Edge. So what is this coin that had a massive pump? How long ago did they buy? They bought 3 minutes ago. Let's take a look what the chart was looking like 3 minutes ago. So it's pretty choppy. We're still working out some of the kinks for the live candle prints. They're still not quite how I need them or want them to be. They still behave. That's part of the reason why we're not fully public yet, is we're still working on some things to get the terminal closer to production. I mean, had you bought when that whale bought, you'd be up a bit, not crazy amounts, but this is a really great place to see where capital is flowing. Not the best environment for it, I'm going to say, because the wallets that are active right now, you know, they're not full capital deployment mode right now. And actually another place that you can see the alpha stream is here in Trench Scope. And what this is a way to visualize stages of a token. Like this is a pump feed, high volume pump feed. We'll say you see a token pop up here and you're like, oh, that ticker kind of stands out interesting to me. Well, you have a few minutes to go in and do some research. And then if it ends up graduating over to the Trench volume feed and you start getting high amounts of volume buys, like the full quantity, 625 Solanos were spent in that ping. Now this was 14 minutes ago. Like I said, the chains are pretty quiet, right? Like the pings are coming in pretty slow. But had you seen that over here? Looks like it might be, there's some news driven or tweet driven reason why this is happening, right? Let's take a look. Let's see what this is about. Oh, it's a David Sachs tweet. Someone actually had to type this info into CNN. Doge Teen, known online as Big Balls, now a government expert. Let's fucking go. Let's give that a like. Elon there with the laughter, the LOLs. She looks fucking miserable. These fucking bitches look miserable as shit, don't they? Oh my goodness. I mean, that's pretty funny. That's what this big balls one was about. So where I was going at with that, you see something pop up here that kind of piques your interest. Well, you might click Twitter. This is another tweet about that same thing. Well, you might click. You get a few minutes to decide, and you see it pop up here with high volume, and then you start seeing some of the whales or tracked wallets buying in. Well, you know that maybe that's a token you want to be trying to buy into now. You could buy in this stage really early, in this end of the war, zone. But you're much safer once you get into here and you're seeing those high volumes. Now, it doesn't mean these coins can't rug, because a lot of them do rug. So you do still, you know, buyer at the behest of the buyer's buyer beware is what I would say. But then you start seeing whales and tracked wallets from ChainEdge. It's not every tracked wallet on ChainEdge. I'm not sure at the moment of the exact criteria of how we're selecting which wallets to put here, but over time there will be more wallets, and there are plans to include user importable wallets to track, which would be great. You know, you see, oh, Frank is buying this token. You're either early or exit lick, so pick your spots, right? Shout out to Frank D Gods. He's crushing it. But I don't think you want to be buying 10 minutes or half an hour after Frank. You probably want to be buying in those first few minutes. So that'll be a nice feature if you are aware of what his wallet is. I'm not going to divulge anybody's wallet addresses or anything like that, but say you were, and you see his name pop up there and you catch it early, you're like, okay, well, I can probably get in on this really quickly and get some gains and then try and sell before becoming exit liquidity. Or if you see, okay, this one wallet that I know is a classic FSH chart rapist, well, maybe I don't want to buy that coin. Or this wallet right here holds. This wallet that I track holds for a long time, and he finds gems early. Well, maybe that's something you buy and you just like let it chill for a little while and see how it does. So this whole flow is a wonderful tool. And it'll only become more powerful over time. Like, I want to be able to have filters on here, so you can filter similar to on ChainEdge, where you can filter by wallet P&L, by token market cap, by token age, those kind of things. Be really wonderful, and we're going to get those incorporated. Let's see how this big balls token is doing anyways. Let's take a look. Does anyone else have any other questions? Please feel free to ask in the chat. Well, there was a bunch of entries right there. Sweep, 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 sweep. There's definitely a trade to be had there. Much of a trade and how much further this goes, who knows. But anyways, that's a quick walkthrough of some of the features on the ChainEdge terminal, which we'll do more as we get closer to the public release. But I gotta tell you, it is a fantastic tool for discovery. And in the right market conditions, it is very powerful. When UFD launched, I discovered it using this full trench panel. I believe I found it like 100 or 200K. And what did that end up going on to? What market cap did that end up going to? Now, of course, to buy and hold for that length of time. Did I buy and hold for that length of time? No. I bought early, sold day one. So, you know, that's where my style of trading can come and bite you in the butt. But I think I found it at 100 or 200K and it ended up going to 430 mil. So powerful. Like it discovers things early, and in the right market conditions, it's a beast. Right now, you have to be a lot more selective, and that's fine. It's just, ebbs and flows of the market. Can I explain? Okay, we've got a question in the chat from Bart Candle. Can you explain your biggest single win and your biggest single loss? What went right and what went wrong? I mean, a lot of the times the big wins come from just having confluence of information from people that I'm in the trenches with, in the private group chats, where you're amongst people that are all buying into the token and are intending on holding the floor and not letting it drop below a certain level. Like, I'm not going to divulge specific wins. My biggest losses came, I'll get in more into the losses because I think that's more important, because the biggest wins is going to be each person specific. So like me divulging information about that isn't going to help you, because what it comes down to is what is your ability to hold in an environment that rewards holding. Now, over time, I've become more of a levels trader, so I'm not really the buy and hold for ridiculous amounts of times guy. I'm more of a swing trader, and that's how I prefer to go about things, because I'm a bit older. Like, I'm in my 40s, and I like to go to sleep comfortably. So I generally like to take my trades and go to sleep flat usually. So the wins come more from using size to do a swing, as opposed to I bought at 100K and held to 430 mil, like I just talked about on this UFD trade. Like, I bought day one around 100, 200K, and I sold way earlier than the chart went to. So I don't know if that particular side of things is as helpful as me talking about the biggest losses. The biggest losses came at the end of 2021, early 2022, when the cycle ended. And I had no idea about how to, I didn't know how to read a chart at that point in time. I didn't understand about market structure. I didn't know, I knew that crypto cycles always crash at some point, but I wasn't ready for that to happen. I wasn't expecting that to happen. And I didn't understand any of the signals of that happening. So at the end of 2021, my port was at all-time high for that cycle. And it's in November, I think, something like that. ETH is hitting all-time highs. It almost hits 5K. Like, the whole timeline's going crazy. Interest rate hikes had just been announced, and I didn't really didn't put it together that I was going to have such a dramatic effect on the market. But I was all in on chain, heavy into ETH and a bunch of other ETH shit coins that I thought were changing the world at that point in time. And ended up becoming a bag holder for a lot of things that just round tripped. And earlier in that cycle, because last cycle was my first cycle, I got into crypto in late 2020 is when I first started buying. So 2021 was great, except we did have that massive correction in the spring. The classic sell in May and walk away. Well, I didn't really know about that at that point in time. But we did have that big correction, but then everything went back up. And it was like, okay, we're fucking doing this. We're great. We're groovy. And I had heard the stories about how there's massive drawdowns. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be okay with these massive drawdowns. It's just part of the game. It's just part of the game. And you keep telling yourself it's just part of the game. And then shit starts to go back up again. And you're like, see, that was right. I was right. It's just part of the game. let that shit keep riding. November 2021, port for that cycle, all-time highs, feeling pretty good. Was heavily denominated in ETH and ETH to shitcoins. ETH approaching 5K, and I'm like feeling like a genius. And then the entire macro landscape changes overnight, essentially. And then things start going down, and you're just like, well, this is just another one of those corrections. We're going to go back up again. Like, how could this, we're having a party. Like, how could NFTs are flying around. Oh boy. I have wallets full of historical artifacts that I thought were going to be so valuable one day. Editor's note, they are not valuable anymore. Don't get caught up in the delusion of becoming a bag holder on any of these things at the end of the day, just FYI. But end of 2021, early 22, things start to correct again. I'm like, okay, well, we had one of these before and it was worse in May. So, things are going to bounce. And they just kept going down and lower and lower. And I not only round-tripped the gains from that entire cycle, but I was underwater from my initial buys on a lot of things. Not on my early ETH buys, because I started buying ETH around like $700 in late 2020. But overall, on anything that I had used ETH to buy other things was pretty much like 90 to 100% down. So the biggest takeaway for me from that, and the reason was that the biggest takeaway for me from that was I didn't want to fucking do that again. So I decided I was going to learn. I sought out traders that I really respected and understood what they were saying, and they made it clear and informative in a way that was graspable, and not like, for a lot of people looking at a chart, it's voodoo and squiggles. So it's like why I call the show, like I say, it's voodoo and squiggles for the culture, because for a lot of people it is that. But I was like, well, there's people that are doing this. There's people that are doing this well, and they seem to have a system that they're using for trading. So I was like, well, I'm gonna learn. So that's what I did. End of 2021, all of 2022, a good chunk of 2023. I just learned. I watched. Well, I circled in on the traders that what they were teaching really resonated with me, and I watched and I read and I studied for that whole period until I got confident enough that I could teach the system to others. Like they say that the best way, they say that the way that to know if you truly know something is if you can explain it in simple terms to other people and they can grasp and learn it. Well, I eventually got to that place just from practicing and trading. Now, I started on perps. I was learning on perps, and I got to tell you, trading on perps, like when you're learning, is a difficult battleground to learn in. And it was also a bear market, so it was mostly shorting. And I actually had some of my good early success was shorting levered perps on Arbitrum. Those are some good days. I used to really enjoy being on Arbitrum, but the losses are more important because it lets you know, okay, if you make it through the other side, you make up your mind that you want to learn, not let that happen again. You do your best to not let that happen again. So I think the losses are a better lesson than the biggest wins. Because wins can come and go, but if you lose all your capital, you're fucked. I'll put it that way. But now I'm at a place where I've managed to protect my downside. I haven't had as ginormous of wins had I just been a moon boy, Like I can be fully upfront about that. Like some coins that I just bought and held during this cycle would have outperformed my style of levels trading. But then when it came time to it, when things started to go the other direction, I've managed to protect and hold on to the majority of the capital that I built up, where I know people that have round tripped huge amounts or have even completely blown up their account. So it's finding a balance between that. And we're, you know, when the conditions are there, I'm more open to holding. Again, like, you know, throughout from when AI season kicked off, you know, October, November, good chunk of December, like those were some good opportunities to be holding coins. So I'm more open to holding than I was before that, but also knowing my invalidations has saved me from completely round tripping or being underwater. I know that didn't directly answer your question, Bart Candle, but like that's just my experience. And I'm not a moon boy, so like, and I can't even remember all the coins I've traded, to be honest with you, because we trade so many of them every day. It's definitely a rotator's market. So like the amount of tickers that I've traded, I couldn't even tell you 90% of the names of them anymore. Same story there. Yeah, I mean, we'll have similar stories of how we get to where we are in crypto. I think the longer you're in crypto, unless you were super early and you're like a billionaire from holding Bitcoin super early and that's like your whole mentality, like the longer you're in crypto, and a recurring theme amongst people that are able to, that are still here in cycles following, was, yes, the gains are incredible, but it's managing your downside risk and not blowing yourself up when things go the other direction. And like the market trades both ways, right? And being able to be successful in both environments, or at least hold on to the gains you've made and not blow yourself up when things go south. And what's crazy is like Bitcoin's still trading near all-time highs. Like, yeah, we're at 97K right now. We're no longer above 100K, but like the fact that the market is in such a downplay, like a sentiments in the gutter kind of vibes, it's just kind of crazy that Bitcoin is where it is right now, and that's the vibes that we're in. Let's see if I'm gonna switch up the track. Put the next track on. What am I gonna put on? I'm feeling this vibe of this ride and smoke vibe. Let's find something else that hits in that sort of style. Let's see what this is. Okay. Well, we've gone a little bit over an hour. I haven't done as much workflow as I was planning to. Like, this one was pretty impromptu. I do intend on doing this sort of like Thursday night, later night show weekly. I'll get a little bit more focused with the direction of them and what I'm going to be talking about during them. I mean, for anyone that's curious, this is the OG Chain Edge front end. We've been developing the terminal for a little while now. It's not out to the public yet, it's still in beta, but like this is the actual Chain Edge site. Let's just take a quick look around and see where flows have been heading. 24-hour inflows, 24-hour outflows. Interesting that Jelly has still been getting that much inflows, but when we looked at the chart, it didn't look great. ARC getting inflows, So maybe ARK is trying to put in a bottom. Not really much interesting. I mean, in terms of dollar value, not much happening there. Fart coin getting outflows, buying. UFD we talked about. We can take a look. So one of the things that's been a great strategy at Chainedge has been to filter for tokens in the 3 to 5 day or sorry, the 0 to 5 day or 0 to 10 day range, and adjust by balance held. And a good metric had been 100K or higher, 100K or more on those tokens. Lately it's been higher because Solana coins have ran so hard and so fast that the balance held, the dollar balance held by the wallets that we track, crept up. So you were looking for in a higher range. Now, like Jelly still has large amounts of balance, but you can also see they're trimming their positions. Down 35% in the last 7 days, down 50% on Bitcoin. I mean, there's just not really... Okay, what's kind of interesting and standing out to me here is the Pumpkin token, 300% balance increase. I think I saw that over here. Yeah, let's take a look. Let's take a look. Daily chart, not really much we can do from a structure perspective on that. That key level there. Well, I think you can kind of say, like, here's the 4-hour range that it's trading within. Yeah, it's not the structure defining range, but it's the range it's currently trading in. Don't really want to buy here, but it's interesting to see the inflows, right? Like we were seeing here. We just had a 4-hour candle close. I have an alarm set on my phone for every 4-hour candle close, as well as for the New York Open and the daily close, which is also a 4-hour candle open. Just so that I can check on certain things at certain times of day. Like 4-hour charts, like the 4-hour ranges, are really great for on-chain shitcoins. Daily becomes important when you're looking at things like, are we still, if we're losing an uptrend, like if you're losing the daily, you know, a high time frame market structure shift is very strong signal that you do want to pay attention to. So I have those alarms set so I can check on certain things at certain times. Well, Pecan, let's put in a 4-hour candle close. It's within this range. You can see that it's been respecting levels within the range though, right? Like it had a H4 demand there that was respected. But it's still within this range here. So I wouldn't buy here. If it can close above here, then I'd look to buy here as a higher low before going up, or if it came down here as a sweep. What else looks kind of interesting from here? Lux is still getting inflows. I think I saw Lux over here on the side as well. Did I see Lux? Did I see Lux? Maybe not. Oh, there it is. Let's take a look at Lux. But like I said, I'm going to wind this down soon. I'm going to have that stream tomorrow with my buddy Too Tall, more research focused. This was just an impromptu, just workflow. I think what I'll do to make, you know, for this particular version of the stream is I'll just open these up and just start walking through my process, less showing specifically the panels and stuff like that. I'll just start digging in the tokens that seem interesting to me and follow my process. And you can follow along as I'm doing that. And we might be able to find some trades, some undervalued gems. That's pretty much what I'm doing with this style of research, like going through the chain edge data, checking through the trending coins, is I'm looking for undervalued gems or an attention coin that is on a retrace. I mean, this isn't looking too hot right now, even though it's had inflows, right? Like almost 30% inflows over the last 7 days with almost 600K balance. By the way, for anyone that's curious about or interested in signing up for Chain Edge, if you go to the Astrology for Men, the AFM Telegram group, and you look in the side panel, because it's a group with multiple channels, if you go in the side panel and look in the links, there is a link with a reference code for 10% off of your subscription to Chain Edge. It's a great site. It's great for doing discovery, especially when the market is trending. It's great for finding undervalued gems, or for where on-chain flows are starting to part their capital, where highly profitable wallets are putting their capital in anticipation of a move up. So maybe smart money is betting on this having a rebound. What I'm seeing right now, though, is we're into some supply. You can see it's rejected off there a couple times. Okay, well, I think I'm going to wrap it up. Are there any other questions or comments? Spark candle. Even after all these years, I'm certain I'm not a good trader. I feel like I only know how to not lose money. Gib, beta. Do you mean beta for the terminal? It's coming soon. We need to work out a few more things. We're getting closer. The devs are working really hard. Shout out to Expert, who's in charge of corralling all the devs that do the behind the scenes work at Chain Edge. I mean, not losing half the battle, but making money is the reason we're here. So you gotta drop that mindset and just like figure out a strategy and a system for making money. That's why we're here. And you know, I wouldn't stress right now about where the market's at, because it's had a big corrective move. A lot of people lost a lot of money. A lot of people were liquidated. So it's going to take a little bit of time for the volumes to return, but they will. They'll return, and we'll be back punting shitters aggressively again. And I'm excited for when that volume returns, because the streams will have more energy. We'll be excited about things, right? Like right now, it's just vibes, right? We're just vibing, and we're going to vibe regardless. The market may be down, but we're not out. Let's see if there's anything interesting that launched today. This Montoya coin. Have you guys seen that meme about Montoya? I don't know if you've seen the videos, but pretty brutal. Essentially, it's like some Spanish reality TV show. Similar to, like, I don't know. I don't watch those kind of shows. I've just seen the clip, but I'm assuming it's something like Love Island or some shit like that is. And this fucking dude is standing there with the host of the show outdoors in like this tropical environment, watching a TV of his girl fucking some other dude live at the resort, like just down the beach. And he's like, and so he starts running to go back there to fucking murder the guy, I guess. And the host of the show is screaming out, "Montoya! No Montoya!" And sports teams and brands have been picking up, and it's turned into a meme. Let's take a look. Let's take a look just for shits and fucking giggles. Montoya, por favor. I am butchering Spanish. I do not speak Spanish. Ooh, it is down bad though. Yeah, I mean, ran a high after it formed a range low. There's your range. We'll dive more into the specifics of the system that I use actually on other episodes. I'm going to have episodes that are specifically for chart requests, and that'll be more geared towards the system that I use for trading for people that are curious to learn. I'll go more in depth in that onto future streams, like I used to for the old Astrology for Men live streams that were just chart requests geared. I'm trying to do a variety of type of shows, like several different types of shows, and some will be more about research, some more about just the charts, some about the macro overview before the week, like I was talking about earlier. I'm going to lay out a schedule and I'm going to try and stick to that. My plan is to do like 5 shows a week, ambitious, but I'm back streaming. I'm enjoying it, especially on these shorter ones. I think each one so far has been about an hour and a half. My goal is to keep them at an hour, so I do need to work a little bit better, trimming it down, not yapping your ears off for so long. Yeah, I mean, if this sweeps the low here, you could try and go along with it, but maybe this meme is over. Quick look in the chat. Lunar, that Pep coin been doing decent as well. Chart looking constructive. Faded at 400k though. RIP. My man, Lunar, Pep coin. Where is? Oh, this one, small Pep. I did not even see this. But like I said, I haven't been as active on chain the last little while. I've been more focused on. Ooh, it does look good. Okay, what do we got? Well, as soon as it made that higher high, it tagged demand here. There it was, right? A little late now, like you don't want to be buying here. You go to M5, see what M5 is looking like. Yeah, there's not really much you can do with this right now unless you want to top blast. But like I said, top blasting season we are not in. If it gives a pullback though, maybe down into here. You're going to pull that back down into the M15 demand with a retest of previous all-time highs somewhere in here. But then something you have to ask yourself is, after parabola, the parabolic move, does it start to look pretty shitty if it comes all the way back down here? So maybe what you might get, yes, that M15 candle hasn't closed yet, but maybe you'll get a fair value gap in there and you look for something in here, but that is still a wide area. Faded at 400k. Well, it's only a 10x. I mean, a 10x in this environment is pretty fucking good. Oh well. Next. We'll catch next. And when the market heaps up, we'll do a little more in terms of plotting things earlier. I just think at this moment in time, if you're not glued to your screen all day, which it's easy to not be right now because it's been so many lulls and dead moments, then it's easy to I'm trying to send a slash command in the chat, but it's not letting me. Why won't it let me send a slash command? Unrecognized command. Okay. Well, I guess I can just send next. There we go. F that sphere. This stream is ass. Well, then you don't have to stay. If it's not for you, it's not for you. Oh, wow. Aggressive. Well, you don't have to stay. You can leave. I don't really care. If it's not for you, it's not for you. You can get the fuck on out of here. Gamble in 2025 is crazy. I don't even know what that means. Anyways, for anyone that's been here that has enjoyed the show, I do appreciate you. I'm just reading the chat and you're the one typing shit right now. Bart, you are welcome. If anyone has any other questions, let me know. I mean, Moon Art was bound to happen on Twitch with the younger audience. But anyone is welcome to come or go. It's, you know. Also, the market is ass right now, so that's on him. But I think we're going to wrap it up because there's not much else to look at right now. I mean, this pep coin does look nice, but to me, there's no entry here until it comes back down here. Not going to chase. This person is hilarious. Anyways, not much else going on right now. Whale activity is pretty low. Mostly some selling coming in on PEP now. Not much to really look at, but it's been a good walkthrough of some of the chain edge stuff today. Again, if anyone is interested, just go hop in the Telegram. You can find a link there to get on the chain edge platform. And if you're looking for a trading terminal to use, the link for my 0xRap is in the About section on the Twitch channel. This motherfucker just keeps chatting. What a loser. So much anger. So much anger. Well, that's on them. Do you want to come in and be angry? It's a you issue, not me. But yeah, like I was saying, if you're looking for a trading terminal platform, 0x, wonderful platform. You can find the link for my 0xRap code if you come in the About section right here. You can also follow me on X. And you can join the AFM community on Telegram, and you can subscribe to the Daily Edge newsletter. All from there. Appreciate each and every one of you for showing up. Except FS Sphere, who's just being a jackass. You can go do other stuff with your time, bro. Nobody asked you to be here. And on that, we're going to call it a night. Once again, appreciate everyone in the AFM community. And I will catch you all the next time. Everyone, enjoy yourselves and have a pleasant evening. Even the asshole in the chat. Have a good evening.